Good day and welcome to The State. On this show, we probe the issues and dig the solutions. Today, we are coming to you from our studios here at Grand House in Accra, after coming to you from Cape Coast on our special editions that we brought to you as part of the Methodist Church's expanded GPC. So today, we are asking and looking at that critical issue. So this event is a fundamental democratic process in every democratic system. It is an event. It is a process that in every democracy we go through. It is for the people to choose their leaders and their representatives. Most times it has been fraught with violence, one form or the other. But it is a must. Once you are a democracy, you have to go through this process. That is what we are looking at today. My name is 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓. Stay for details.
Yes, the solution to all your travel needs is here. 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 Lodge and Travel Services offers you the opportunity to travel to the following countries: Canada, United States of America, Turkey, Dubai, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malta, Germany, and other European countries, where skilled workers such as nurses, paramedics, nannies, and caregivers, drivers, plumbers, masons, electricians, carpenters, painters, etc. are needed for urgent employment. 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 Lodge and Travel Services can secure your Schengen visas with work permits. Individuals, organizations, churches, schools can contact us for their ticketing and hotel reservation, car rental services, international tour packages, travel consultation, visa assistance, and study abroad packages to all countries. We are located at Mr. Bates bus stop opposite the Calvary Baptist Church at Abaka, Accra, or contact us on these numbers: 0544-279525 or 0545-622-672 or 0302-237557. 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 Lodge and Travel Services, your destination, our pride.
Welcome back. This is the W Brief segment where we give you an executive summary or the facts of the topic for discussion for the day. So as I introduce, what is this event that is fundamental in every democratic system, in every democratic process? What is this event? And it is elections. By extent, a type, it's by-election. So a by-election has become necessary in the 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 constituency following the demise of the MPP Member of Parliament, Ernest 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓, after just being a legislator for only 6 months. So Ernest 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 passed, unfortunately, after just 6 months as a legislator. So it has necessitated a by-election. The late Ernest 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 defeated the NDC's candidates then in the 2024 elections, Henry Boakye Yadom. The voter ratio, some will argue that it wasn't so huge, but 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 had 19,000 votes plus, whereas Boakye Yadom had 17,000, with just a difference of about 2,000 votes. That was in 2024, the election that was held. It is 6 days, and in 6 days' time, the 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 constituency will be having the parliamentary by-elections. That is on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. There's going to be a by-election. The two major political parties, the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party, have intensified their campaigns just to win the vacant seats. They are doing everything possible to win the vacant seat. They have unleashed their might in the constituency. So from the regional and national level, the executives and all the people who matter in the respective parties are in the 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 constituency to win the minds of voters to vote for their respective candidates. So let's look at the candidates for the elections in 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓, for the by-elections in 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓. So there is a 40-year-old licensed small-scale miner who's been fielded by the New Patriotic Party, Solomon Kwame Asumelu. Solomon Kwame Asumedu is very popular in that area, and he's contesting the seat to replace 𝗟𝗟s Kumi in the constituency on the ticket of the NPP. The NDC's candidate, on the other hand, is a legal practitioner, 𝗟𝗟 Bediako. 𝗟𝗟 Bediako is trying to reclaim the seat for the NDC. So we have Solomon Asumedu for the NPP and 𝗟𝗟 Bediako, lawyer, for the NDC. And the NDC and NPP are the only parties that are cleared by the Electoral Commission to run in this election, although another party, People's Action Party candidate, has been disqualified. So these are the two parties just are going for that election. 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 is located in the 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 district of the Eastern Region, the 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 district. And the Electoral Commissioner, or should I say the regional director there for the Electoral Commission, Francisca Safo, said that everything is in place. Materials, well, logistics-wise, anything to manage the election is ready and preparation is set for the by-election come 2nd September. So Francisca Safo telling the whole world that 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 is ready for the by-elections. According to Ms. Safo, a total of 52,338 registered voters will be participating in the 119 polling stations in the constituency. 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 constituency has 119 polling stations, and we are expecting about 52,338 voters to participate. Security has been beefed up in 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘. All the communities that will participate in the elections. There are about 30 vehicles patrolling, about 100 roadblock or checkpoints on every street in 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 as we speak now. Security is tight towards the election. The police administration, under the leadership of the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Christian Tete Yohunu, said that about 5,000 police personnel will be deployed to provide security to ensure that there is an incident-free election. That 5,000 police personnel will be deployed there to ensure that there is an incident-free election in 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘. So that is the architecture, the security architecture by the administration, as said by the IGP, for the election ahead of the polls. The Eastern South Command of the police in the Eastern Region, or should I say that is supervising the 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 election, has arrested 10 suspects. 10 suspects. And these 10 suspects who were arrested, 9 weapons were retrieved from them in separate operations in 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘. So separate operations. But 9 weapons have been retrieved from this 10 people. And out of those 9 weapons that have been retrieved, there are 8 pump-action guns. 8 pump-action guns and 1 locally manufactured single-barreled gun. Ahead of the polls, the command has retrieved these weapons from 10 men who were arrested. But many election watchers and security experts have decried the tension and threat of violence by both NDC and NPP in their bid to annex the seats. They throw accusations at each other with regard to this arrest and the violence that faces people in the constituency. The concerns comes against the backdrop of the several incidents of violent elections in the country over the years. Recently, the 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 North, we have had the 𝗟𝗑𝗑𝗏, we have the Talenti, we have the West Wogon, Ayawaso. We have had a trend in violence in by-elections in Ghana. So election watchers are concerned and they are worried. So with this backdrop, there are concerns. We are worried. We are worried. Some have argued that considering the violence that by-elections evoke, they bring up where people could do anything. And just some recent one, somebody dived like an Olympian and perpetuated an act that was violent. Some have argued that because of this, by-elections should be scrapped. We shouldn't hold by-elections. When somebody who is occupying the seat passes or vacates the seat, the party should use its own internal mechanism to replace the person. Let's stop by-elections. That is what some people have argued. Let's stop it. But with heightened security concerns and tensions ahead of the polls on September 2nd, 2025 in 𝗟𝗑𝗑𝗓, we ask on the state today, what must be done to prevent 𝗟𝗑𝗓 from adding to the tall list of violent by-elections in Ghana? We'll delve into the issues. Please stay.
This is the new Wesley Towers. It is a state-of-the-art office space located in the Ambassadorial Enclave, Accra. The property comes with a main entrance foyer with a classic central chandelier lighting. Our 13-passenger elevator with an air diffuser and a display screen for all your outfits will surely take you to the auditorium. At the Wesley Towers is a 500-seater auditorium for all your events. It's fully soundproof with a centralized air conditioning system. Our line of speakers, MCR, LED screens, and LED stage lights are fully in place. After an eventful day in our auditorium, you are sure to feel refreshed in the spacious 200-seater capacity roof terrace with a pergola in place. With 100 available car parking space, this new edifice is safe and secured with our security systems in place. Over 100 camera points and car parking control system. We have washrooms, restaurant, and an on-site clinic. Book our conference rooms for your corporate meetings whilst admiring the water fountain synchronizing with colorful lighting and music. Wesley Towers is designed to make you feel safe, offering you the needed luxurious space. It comes with affordable pricing package. Please contact for details and inspection. 0503 109 978 or 0500 166 304 or 0556 302 880 0243 614 423. Wesley Towers, offering you a safe, secured, luxurious space.
Welcome back. This is The State. It is everybody's favorite current affairs program on Christian television. I am very, very enthused by the responses that we had traveling around. Everybody's favorite. Everybody watches The State. So it is The State this afternoon, and we are considering an issue that is critical because it is pending. It is an issue that has gotten everybody, the whole nation, to be rallying around the assets and development to do that. So the 𝗟𝗑𝗓𝗓 by-election. 𝗟𝗑𝗓𝗓 by-election, following the demise of the member of parliament for the constituency, 𝗟𝗜𝗓𝗓𝗓, who just stayed in parliament for 6 months just as a legislator and passed away. Unfortunately, the constitution of the Republic of Ghana requires that the Speaker of Parliament declares the seat vacant, Article 112, Clause 5, and that has been activated. So the Electoral Commission has slated 2nd of September 2025 for a by-election in the 𝗟𝗑𝗓𝗓 constituency. The EC there tells us that about 52,000, more than 52,000 voters, registered voters, are expected to participate in the election in all the 119 polling stations in the 𝗟𝗑𝗓𝗓 constituency. But security analysts and elections watchers are alarmed, and they decry the heightened tension the concerns have been raised of violence, and the IGP says that about 5,000 police personnel will be deployed to 𝗟𝗑𝗑. Some are already on the ground training. They have mapped out. There are roadblocks and checkpoints. There are vehicles patrolling the streets of 𝗟𝗟𝗑𝗑. We are asking that should 𝗟𝗟𝗑𝗑 add on to the tall list of by-elections that are violent by-elections in the country. If viewers will recall, we've had violence in our by-elections, just the Ablekuma North one recently. We have the Etiwa, we have the Talenti, we have the we have had the Wogon one. So it's becoming a trend. So we are delving into the issue. Should 𝗟𝗟𝗑𝗑 add to the tall list of violent by-elections in Ghana? I don't think the answer is yes. So we are looking at the 𝗟𝗟𝗑𝗑 election security concerns ahead of the polls, and we have joining us as our guest to give us insight and help in the discussions, the Executive Secretary of the National Peace Council, Mr. 𝗟𝗜𝗩𝗘. Sir, welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much.
We are glad to have you on the show. We'll also be joined by a fraud expert and security consultant, Richard Kumado. Richard will also join us as we discuss this sensitive subject and issue. We're also expecting Jude Balmer. Jude has joined us very well. Jude Balmer, convener for Election Watch Ghana. Mr. Balmer, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I think this is the co-convener, 𝗟𝗟𝗃𝗓, who have joined.
Oh, okay. So Mark is the co-convener of Election Watch Ghana.
He's the co-convener.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. And Executive Secretary, National Peace Council, Mark, and then Richard Kumado. Gentlemen, let's just go into the discussion. But let me pick your thoughts before we talk about 𝗟𝗟𝗑𝗑. The debate going on, or the proposals that are coming from quarters. The Kwabena Agyapong, who is the presidential hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, has made a comment on it. Former MP for Soweto has made a comment on it. Legal practitioner, some legal practitioners have also made comments on this very subject. The need yesterday, former UN advisor Professor Bafo Jan also made a comment, and it's on the subject that because of the violence and the cost associated with by-elections, maybe as the nation reviews its constitution, we should look at scrapping it. Just as a way of delving or moving smoothly into 𝗟𝗟𝗑𝗑. I just want to pick your thoughts, gentlemen, a minute each. By-elections, it is a constitutional requirement, but it's been fraught with violence. The trend is there. Some are arguing, the people I've mentioned. Mark, let me begin with you, Mark. Do you think it is time to look at it?
Let me say a very good afternoon to you, and to say a good afternoon to my co-panelist, the Executive Secretary to the Peace Council. I think I sent him a message yesterday. The issue of scrapping by-election, I don't think is either here nor there. If there is a challenge and you fail to address the challenge, that does not give us the opportunity to scrap the entire system that we are operating with. At least, we should be able to cite one or two reasons why by-elections should be scrapped. And the reasons for which by-elections are or is embedded in our constitution, especially by the framers, is not only for those who perhaps lose their lives or who die, but also for those who perhaps may be incapacitated to continue with their democratic and parliamentary duties. And so, if we are calling for a scrapping of our by-elections, then we need to understand the reasons why we are scrapping by-elections. If the reasons given is because of violence during by-elections, then it means there is a problem somewhere, which an institution is expected to be responsible in ensuring that there is that peace that we all yearn for. So for me, the argument of scrapping by-elections, it's neither here nor there. It is a constitutionally mandated process, and since it is embedded in our constitution, we have nothing to do than to go by it. If there are other fundamental problems that we need to address, let us look at addressing them than rather thinking of scrapping it. If you travel to Kumasi and you're involved in an accident, that does not give you the opportunity to walk from here to Kumasi because you're involved in an accident. You cannot also throw away your baby with, including the bath and then the water, because the baby has perhaps poo-pooed or done something wrong. So, for me, I disagree with that move.
But Mark, the argument has really been that it's not only the violence, but look at the acrimony. Look at the hate that it generates, the tension, the monocracy, giving of money, all those issues. Why don't they've compared to other systems? That why doesn't the ruling party, when that candidate is incapacitated, it's not able to perform that role, just use internal mechanisms to replace the person, so that we don't have this acrimony and people having to bribe their ways and the tension that we have? You still think there are not enough reasons?
Yes, I think that we cannot also say that it is only by elections that is characterized with violence. And if we're also talking about monocracy in our body politics, then it means that an institution is not working, which is the Electoral Commission and perhaps the Ghana Police Service, because there is no way our democracy or election should be monetized. And so if we have allowed ourselves for all this while to allow our body politics and our democracy to be monetized, we ask ourselves, is that what the Constitution mandates us to do? If it is no, then why do we allow such things to happen? It means that an institution is not doing what is right. We must begin cracking the whip. If not, we will scrap by elections today, and the reasons they are giving that by elections is characterized with violence and monetization. It is the same way our national elections is also characterized with monetization. They share goodies to people to convince them to vote for them and all that. So it means that if we are having elections that is characterized by violence and monocracy and tensions, we shouldn't also go for a general election. Immediately we agree to this, then it means that tomorrow we may be scrapping our general elections as well. So I understand there are fundamental problems, which is one, monocracy, number two, heightened tensions, number three, violence. And these are all things that institutions are mandated to work on. If they are not doing their work, we cannot say that people's democratic right should be curtailed because some institutions are not doing the right thing.
Clearly,
I totally disagree.
Clearly, Mark, you are not for the scrapping of by-election. Mr. Amu, what is your position? Executive Secretary, Peace Council.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir.
I barely hear from the studio, so please let your gentleman adjust a bit. But I think that we should take things slowly in advocating for the changes that some people are making, because we vote not for a political party to conduct affairs at a constituency, as it were. We vote for individuals who are representing either by themselves or by a political party. So if, for example, an individual who went independent won and the person died, or something took the person off the seat, what should happen? I'm asking those who are advocating for the party to replace. So I think we must soberly interrogate this and deal with the issues that are confronting our elections. If it is money, let us deal with it. If it is security, let us deal with it. I think that the representation of persons is for a reason. People see qualities in you, the hosts. I don't know who is hosting today. But if persons see the qualities in you and they decide to go for you, I think it will be a sacrifice of the rights or the interests of people to say that let me, jettisoning that interest, let me put that interest aside because the person is no more and allow some other method to be used to get a replacement. I think that is my view about it. So let us deal with the issues that are challenging the by-elections in our system. We in the Peace Council, we've done quite lots in trying to deal with the issue. Probably as we go on, it will come up.
Very well. Yeah. So, Mr. Mo, this is new to Ankara, Gabriel, new to Ankara hosting. I'm hosting the states today. So I'm sure you yes. So you identified me by my name properly. Well understood. So this is Gabriel, new to Ankara. Yes. So clearly, both gentlemen, you are all for the by-election. It's a process that we have to go through. It is a system. If it is fraught with other challenges, we need to look at them individually and address them. Clearly, we must have this elections or by-elections at its way, irrespective of the fact that it is fraught with snippets of violence and tensions that we agree comes with every process that involves human people with vested interests. Very well. Let's look at 𝗟𝗑𝗓𝗘. In 6 days' time, the people will be voting. From where we sit, Mark, I'll start with you. What are the threats to the security in 𝗟𝗑𝗓𝗘 as far as these elections are concerned? What have you seen to be the threats?
I think that in the interest of every rational human being, there is the need to have peace within the people who live around you and also the environment you find yourself in. Failure to seek.
We seem to be losing you, Mark.
A lot of misunderstanding within yourself, and things probably may not go well. For that reason, it is incumbent on us as citizens of this country and all other institutions to contribute their quota to sustaining peace within the populace and then within our environment. The 𝗟𝗑𝗓𝗘 by-elections have just few days to come on. We are hearing words of threats from both political divide, the NDC and the NPP. I think the political parties have failed us as a state. We know also that in terms of electoral peace, it is a responsibility on the security agencies and the Electoral Commission, because it is the Electoral Commission that comes up with its modalities, and whoever flouts the modality is apprehended by the security agencies, which is the Ghana Police and other services. And so I am of the view that it is a responsibility on these two institutions. That notwithstanding, the political parties cannot also run away from the fact that they also need to contribute their quota to sustaining peace in every election. I'm saying this because the political parties are to engage their people and sensitize them on the need to have a free environment, a violence-free process to elect a candidate that would represent them in parliament. And you could see that there are some political activists who have engaged in acts of violence during elections, and after their actions, they are rewarded with some positions and some juicy whatever we will call it. And so it emboldens them to continue to do it the more, no matter what the police and the security agencies do. But I think that our security agencies, one way or the other, have also failed us, because we have had series of elections, including by-elections, just as you mentioned, in 𝗟𝗓𝗘𝗃, in Talensi, Ayawaso West Wagon. Now we are going to 𝗟𝗑𝗓𝗘𝗃. We recently had a rerun in Ablekuma North, even this same Akwetia in 2009, we had a by-election there. And the record tells us that insecurity and violence continues to increase. This clearly indicates that there are a systemic problem with regards to security. And so what have our security agencies done about this consistent act of violence? Perhaps that is the reason why the Ghana Police Service is thinking of deploying over 5,000 people to Akwetia. But we have said, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but we have said that the 5,000 people is too excessive. The people of Akwetia have started complaining that it has instilled certain fear in them. Some have said that perhaps they may not even go out. Quote, myself and you know that when we were young, immediately you start doing anything wrong, they tell you, make of police number. And so that kind of fear have been who have some personal relationship with some police officers and perhaps understand the system of security. That is why we may not, entertain any fear. But there are other brothers and sisters of us who live in urban cities but entertain fear just by the mention of a police. How much more those of our brothers and sisters who are in the hinterland? But so Mark, for me, Mark, we are not going for war.
Yes, but Mark, your group in your statement that you released, you just mentioned about the fact that the police presence might more or less intimidate voters, that they might fear to go and vote. But in the same breath, you said there are security lapses. Perhaps that is why violence is thriving. So if the police thinks that by sending our men on the ground, making sure that we have more of them on the ground to ensure that we have an incident-free election, why do you fault the police for being there and then calling that intimidation?
That is a weak approach, I will call it. If you want to secure peace and ensure that there is violence-free election, you can deploy 20,000 police officers there. And when the people decide to engage in violent activities, they will engage in before you arrest them. But what we think should be done is that you put up preemptive measures. Preemption comes at no cost. If it does happen, your men are there to solve it. If it doesn't happen, that is hallelujah to you. What we think is that there are some recommendations that we have proposed to the Ghana police. And if you go by it, trust you me, that thing will not happen. Any violence will not happen. If you live with your children in your house and you foresee that there are challenges that will lead to violence, you will find ways and means to block them. By putting in certain measures, and that is what we are expecting the Ghana police to do, but not to deploy that 5,000 people. If in case we are having a national elections and that election is characterized or is led with a lot of words of threatening, are we going to import police officers from other jurisdictions to come and help us police the day of election? We can certainly not do that. It depends on the strategies the police uses and the recommendations that they come out with.
Very well.
That will help us have a violent election.
We'll look at your group's recommendations and see how they run parallel to the police's architecture. They deem fit there. So we'll touch on that. But let me go to Mr. George Amo, Executive Secretary, Peace Council. Sir, from where you sit, what are the security threats in Akwetia?
All right. Thank you once again. I think that we should understand the fact that elections are conducted in a competitive manner. And anything that is subject to competition will naturally arouse, conflict. Because conflict, as we define, the pursuit of incompatible goals, values, needs, So wherever there is competition or there's something that two or more cannot share, it will naturally occasion a conflictual situation. And that is what happens when elections are coming. So it is not, I just want to say that it's not something strange. However, it's becoming serious in our part of the world because it became a do or die affair. I think the recent one at 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓 North, the signs were not too clear, but they were not oblivious as well because of the experiences we had during the general elections. So the threats are there. I mean, security threats regarding possibility of macho men coming to do their things that we know them to do. Threats even to the life of the officers of the Electoral Commission. Threats to the life of the candidates, to media, etc. They are there. But I am aware that the police has put in place every effort. And let me say this, I think I heard it from you. I'm not hearing from my colleague on the other side. But the police, the 5,000 men and officers that are being deployed are not going to be stationed, as it were, the polling stations only. No. There is a strategy. Indeed, 2 days ago, we met with the IGP, and he shared with us the plan for 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓. So it is a strategy. I mean, this time round, people should be assured that police will not stand there aloof and what you do like they did in 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓. They are going to be armed. So those who want to conduct themselves in ways that would disturb the peace in the area, you should be careful. We have met with the political parties. We have expressed our concern to them. We met with the NDC. We've met with the NPP. We've met with the police, as I've told you. We've met with the EC. Just yesterday, we had a meeting with the commissioners, led by Madam Jane Mensah. So, I am confident that the issues that came up at 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓 will not recur in 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓. The Peace Council has also deployed our officers. Indeed, from tomorrow, our regional office is engaging the youth, particularly. Our target is the youth in both parties and in the area, in the enclave. So we are putting in place all the measures to prevent the recurrence of what happened in 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓 North, or we call it Talensi, or whatever. So we were doing all these things, and we hope that we are going to have a different story after September 2nd.
Very well. Viewers, if you are just joining us, this is The State, and today we are looking at the 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓 by-election amidst the security tensions and concerns ahead of the polls. And we joined by, you just heard, gone by the Executive Secretary of the National Peace Council, Mr. George Amu. That is also the co-convener of Election Watch Ghana, Mark, and helping us to have an insight into the discussion. Will 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓 add to the tall list of by-election violent constituencies that we have in the country? Definitely, that is not our hope and wish. So what are the security concerns that are being raised? We will take a quick breather, and when we come, we'll look at the issue of weapons that are introduced there, voter suppression, and what are the ways that the voter can be informed to be security conscious amidst threats, potential threats in 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓. Please don't go. We'll be right back.
Yes, Yes, the solution to all your travel needs is here. 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Lodge and Travel Services offers you the opportunity to travel to the following countries: Canada, United States of America, Turkey, Dubai, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malta, Germany, and other European countries, where skilled workers such as nurses, paramedics, nannies, and caregivers, drivers, plumbers, masons, electricians, carpenters, painters, etc. are needed for urgent employment. 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Lodge and Travel Services can secure your Schengen visas with work permits. Individuals, organizations, churches, schools can contact us for their ticketing and hotel reservation, car rental services, international tour packages, travel consultation, visa assistance, and study abroad packages to all countries. We are located at Mr. Bates Bus Stop, opposite the Calvary Baptist Church at Abaka, Accra, or contact us on these numbers: 0544 27 9525 or 0545 622 672 or 0302 237557. 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Lodge and Travel Services, your destination, our pride.
Under the distinguished patronage of our founding churches, Methodist, Presbyterian, Anglican, Evangelical Presbyterian, the AME Zion, and other affiliate churches of Ghana, the Boys and Girls Brigade Councils of Ghana present the Brigades Hour. Hallelujah! A stimulating and instructive hour-long, made-for-you TV magazine extravaganza featuring lively archival recap of the history of the Boys and Girls Brigades as international and domestic ecumenical, non-denominational, regimented Christian organizations. Join us on the extensive journey of discovery of the 4 core pillars of all our programs: the physicality of our camping, expedition, and drills, the spiritually uplifting praise, worship, and intensive Bible study for all our boys and girls in our company meetings, highly educational content of our artificial intelligence and robotic contact sessions for all our boys and girls, and our extensive basic and command courses for all our officers. As for the social fit and balance, we rely on recreation, sports, and our youth parliament. Take a cozy front seat and soak in our captivating segments: district, regional, and national reports, denominational reports, international briefs, and the frills and thrills Brigade Drills. Be interactive with us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and win excellent prizes on our monthly GB and BB quiz as you join us on phone. Is the Brigade Hour showing live on WTV and BCGTV on Wednesdays at these exclusive times. GB, seek, serve, follow Christ. BB, sure and steadfast. Brigades Hour. Oh, you dosing, Toffee.
Welcome back. On the stage today, we are looking at 𝗟𝗡𝗡 by-elections. We are delving into the security concerns and tensions ahead of the polls on 2nd September 2025, as the Electoral Commission has declared. And our guests have been giving us insight from their perspectives where they sit. We are joined in the discussion by the Executive Secretary for the National Peace Council, Mr. 𝗟𝗓𝗡, who says they have met groups, various stakeholders in 𝗟𝗡𝗡, and hopeful that 𝗟𝗡𝗡 will not add to the list of by-election violent constituencies, the tallest as we have it. Also with us, a guest helping in the discussion is Mr. Mark Akon. Mark Akon is the co-convener of Election Watch Ghana. They issued a statement giving some concerns and what they consider remedies, or as it were, strategies to making sure that voters come out in their numbers to vote, not intimidated by huge numbers of police presence in 𝗟𝗑𝗑𝗑. So it is a cause for concern and worry. That is what we've been looking at on the state today. If you're joining us, you've missed a bit, but trust me, just the last embeds of the show, you can pick nuggets, you can be informed to join in the national discourse or conversation. Let me come to you quickly, Mark. Welcome back from the break. And before we went for the break, Mr. Amu was making the point that the Peace Council has engaged various stakeholders in 𝗟𝗑𝗑𝗑, and they are hopeful that we would have an incident-free by election. But the reports also have it that 10 people were suspects were arrested, and then guns were retrieved from them. Eight pump action guns with one locally manufactured single barrel gun. Let's look at guns, weapons used in our elections, and particularly by elections. How do we handle these threats in our elections? Mark.
Gideon, thank you. I think that weapons have no duty or responsibility in our democratic process. No one goes to the ballot to go and thumbprint with a gun. And this is not something new, that the police have arrested people who were who had possession of guns with them. The laws are simple. If someone has a gun with him or her and he's not properly or duly registered, the person is apprehended. Although it is a by-election, we are seeing some of these things. It is not only during by-elections that people are seen wielding guns. So I think the law must take its course. They should be arrested. Let me also commend Mr. Amu and the Peace Council for the work they are doing. But I will continue to maintain my point that deploying 5,000 security officers to a particular place for by-elections and to police the entire process, to us, is excessive. If we are to listen to the commentaries that are coming from the constituents, it tells you that the presence of police is excessive and it is instilling some fear in them. I do not know or see where elections are being conducted and there are a lot of policemen, deployed in that particular area. I mean, it makes a mockery of our democracy, where we as a country are thinking that we are becoming a beacon of democracy. We are not able to manage a single constituency until we have about 5,000 police officers there. One thing we should also know is that the voters themselves are not the problem. And that is why some voters will decide not to go and vote. As we speak, civil society organizations are working assiduously to ensure that we increase voter participation. The reason for which people go to vote is to seek for development. Unfortunately, they are not seeing that kind of development for which they are voting. And so you could realize that year on, the voting pattern is declining. And so if we are to add this strategy from the Ghana police in increasing their number to that 5,000, unless of course it's not 5,000, but increasing their number to 5,000 in about 119 polling stations, I mean, it is a waste of national resources. It's a waste of human resources. I know that we are looking for peace. Peace comes when there are definitive instructions or definitive laws that protect the individuals. If we go to have engagement with them that, oh, please, let us set a mark that these by-elections will not be characterized or marred with violence. And there are no clear-cut restrictions by law. Gideon, people will go contrary to whatever discussions we have had.
We have had.
But let the law be the law.
Very well.
You remember in 𝗟𝗓𝗓 North, those who were caught, engaged in that violence, according to the police, have been apprehended and been taken to court. If we continue to do this, people would use that as a learning curve or not engage in violence. But we arrest them. Tomorrow we leave them, and they continue to do that.
Exactly.
Let us arrest people and let them be set as precedents.
Yeah. So, Mr. George Amu, that brings me close. I was coming right to where Mark ended to ask you that in your engagement with the political parties on the ground there in 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗘, what is their commitment? Because some of these hoodlums, some of these people who involve in violence belong to either of the political parties, and they see it as their show of loyalty by defending and fighting for their party in that manner, and that crude manner. In your engagement with them, do we get the sense that the parties are committed, that they will be able to smoke out, they will give out people when they misbehave for the law to take its course? Mr. George Amu.
Let me put on record, I don't hear my other colleague when he speaks. I can't hear anything at all. So it is you when you speak.
That's unfortunate. Yes. So he was. Let me just bring you up to speed. He was more. Let me summarize it. What Mark was saying, that he sees the 5,000 police personnel deployed in 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗘 more or less as an overkill. It's too many. Okay. It frightens the people. They won't come out to vote. And he was applauding the fact that those, the reports we are hearing, those in 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 who have been apprehended and prosecuted, he hopes that if such trends continue, then we're going to have peaceful elections. And I'm asking that in your engagement with the political parties, we get a sense that they are committed to giving out those men in their parties who involve in violence.
Great. Thank you. And let me say, we have not yet engaged the constituency executives in 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗘. We are beginning from tomorrow. But what I have said is that we've met with the NDC and the MPP hierarchy. So we started with the chairman, for example, and the secretary of the National Democratic Congress and the team, what we call the FEC, the Functional Executive Committee members. So we met with them. We received commitments from the highest places. I mean, the chairman himself, the general secretary committed themselves. And they told us that we were going to assist the police to apprehend all those who were seen on camera, doing those things they did in 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗘. And I think they've stood by the words they assured us. And yesterday, 8 were we played before court. So I think that we have to take them by the word. The indications are that they are going to do that. And we should also know that the Vigilantism and Related Offence Act 999 of 2019 is still in place. And if you are found to be culpable, I mean, you can be charged and imprisoned to as much as 25 years, in prison custody. So we should be careful. The police deploying as many as 5,000, I think that, like I've said here, we had a meeting with the police hierarchy led by the IGP himself. And they explained to us the strategy. And, they can't come out and say everything. But what I foresee is that it is not going to be, and what I understand from them, we are not going to see all the 5,000 at the polling station. No. There's a strategy. You see, you have the frontal group that will be there, but behind them, and behind them as well, there will be those groups waiting to deal with anything. They wouldn't wait for something to happen. Then they call men from Accra or from Kumasi or wherever, Koforidua camp. So that is the nature of their strategy, and we should rest assured that it is not going to cause any intimidation. The police are always with us in the communities, unlike the soldiers. So
well.
I think even if that would create that impression, I mean, people in 𝗟𝗓𝗘 should rest assured that the presence of the police is for the good of the people.
Of the people there.
And for the integrity of the election.
Of the election and the process.
So nobody should be intimidated.
Yeah. Mr. Amo, just this afternoon, the NPP has held a press conference addressed by their communications director. He have led that Richard Ahiagba just addressed, and they have concerns, accusing the NDC of going to put their tags in uniform to intimidate people in there. So we're hoping that your council, your peace, your team meets them, and so that all these fears are allayed and each of the stakeholders are at peace with each other to ensure that we have an incident-free. But it is a source of concern, and I believe the Peace Council will be taking it up.
Yeah, probably. Let me offer this shortly. What we have done is that after meeting the NDC and NDP hierarchy, we intend to have a brief meeting somewhere with the top people there in a private conversation before the elections. Yes, that is on the table, and we want to do it as quickly as we can.
Very well, very well. Gentlemen, we are in the last minute of our time. Let me come to you, Mark Ako. So, concluding our discussion, what will be the words for voters in 𝗟𝗟𝗘 to be informed and be aware of security and potential threats going forward?
I think that the Ghana Police Service must give us periodic briefings on their strategies. I know very well that it is not all the security strategies that will be put out there, but what is good for the constituent to consume in order to give them that assurance or hope of peace and serene environment that they can go freely to go and cast their votes without any challenge should be out there. I think the police is I wouldn't say they're not doing well. I think in 𝗟𝗟𝗘 they were not giving us that information we needed. But in 𝗟𝗟𝗘, I foresee them giving us some little bit of briefings, which is a sign of good gesture. But I think also that we need to engage the people of 𝗟𝗟𝗘 and let them know, just as Dr. Amos said, that it is for their good and the preservation of our democracy. However, it is a responsibility on all of us as citizens, as Ghana Police Service, the Peace Council, and the political parties to ensure that there is peace and order in the 𝗟𝗟𝗘 by-election.
Very well.
I'll repeat that if there are fundamental challenges, let us look at addressing those challenges. The police should be firm. The police must be firm. Whoever violates the fundamental rules should be arrested and put before a competent court of jurisdiction. If the person is found guilty, whatever punishment that is supposed to be meted should be meted on him or her to serve as a deterrent that no other individual.
Mark, we need to go. Yes, we need to go. Mr. Amo, in a second, your concluding marks. Very well. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We just heard Makako as the co-convener of Election Watch Ghana, also the Executive Secretary of National Peace Council, Mr. George Amo, who helped us in looking at the 𝗟𝗟𝗘 by-election slated for 2nd of September 2025. It is our prayer that 𝗟𝗟𝗘 does not add to the tall list of by-election violent constituencies in Ghana. Voters, go and vote in peace, and let's have one Ghana in peace. My name is 𝗟𝗟𝗩𝗘 to Ankara. Join us again on Friday. Goodbye.